you in this video with me? Or are we having it?
I'm gonna have a bit of, let's see if I can get it. Grand Marnier, that's right, if you remember what I ordered. Hey, Samantha Isom here, again on a Brown Passport trip. I'm in Sun Valley, Idaho. When I say Sun Valley, I'm just referring to the general vicinity, so it includes Ketchum, Haley, and other surrounding towns. Right now, I'm sitting at, River Run Resort at the base of Baldy Mountain. I'll turn this around so you can see it. Let's turn this around. Gimbal went a little crazy there. That's cool. So we'll turn it back here. There we go. It's beautiful snow out here. It's a little slick though, 'cause it's been a warm season. You can see I don't even really have a coat on now. It's something like, I don't know, 15 Celsius. Was that 50 something Fahrenheit, something like that? And so the snow's a little slick, but it's still more powdery than I'm used to on the East Coast. Been here for a few days with the National Brotherhood of Skiers, NBS, Black Summit. Several thousand African Americans, and there's a contingency from the UK also. What did you find out about NBS?
Oh, we've been skiing with them for a number of years. Early 2000 was my first trip out with them. Yeah.
Your first summit?
Yeah.
So you've been skiing for years, but then how'd you find out about NBS though?
It was with a ski group in the UK. So,
Oh, it was?
Nubian ski.
Oh,
we
that's
came
cool.
out. Where was it? Canada? First one? No,
Yeah,
Banff.
it was Whistler.
Whistler.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then, were you skiing before you were it was Nubian ski group, right? Were you skiing before you were with Nubian or no?
Not me.
So then they got you into it, or do you ski now? Okay. That's cool. And how about, let me get to you. There you are.
Yeah, I think I skied a year before I joined Nubian.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's it. So we went out with, I think, about 8 black people skiing.
Hello.
And then after that, we sort of joined up with Nubian. One of the people that came with us was from Nubian, so.
So do you want to share a story with us that happened the other day? Or?
Sure. Actually, the story I'll share happened several years ago. So I've been a member of NBS over 15 years now, and we do go once a year to a mountain resort where we all convene, 40 plus clubs, and kind of take over the town during that time. And what we all have experienced as black skiers is when we land to the mountain, some of our non-black skiers are not used to seeing us, and some having just kind of stares and looks and glares. And so we're kind of used to that. Some will come up and ask us, who we are and what we're about. This particular incident was on a chairlift going up with a white lady and her son. Her son looked to be about 9 years old. And so once we got on the chairlift and pulled the bar down, I said hello, and she said hi, and her son said hi. And then she immediately said, "Are you with them?" And I knew what she was getting at, and I didn't like the way our conversation started. So I thought, we have, a 10-minute ride on this chairlift. There's nowhere for either one of us to go. And I have this motto, reach one, teach one. So I knew this was an opportunity. So I then said, "Who's them?" And she looked, and she said, "Them." And she was like pointing to nowhere because there weren't any black skiers around on the chairlift. So I said, "I'm not sure what you're talking about." And she said, "Oh, never mind. And she kind of started looking straight ahead and was a little embarrassed. I said, no, I'm trying to understand who is them. I'm just trying to understand who you're talking about. You think I'm with someone. Who is that someone?" She said, "Oh, well, no, there's a group of people here, and I just thought you were with them." So I thought I'd play the game a little longer. I said, "No, are you with them?" And she's like, no. And she said it like, so I knew at that point that this wasn't genuine, because she said no, like, oh, I wouldn't dare be caught dead with the group of black skiers. She said, no. I said, well, why would you think I would be with them? And she really got, embarrassed and said, no, never mind, because she didn't want to talk about it, and I did. And I said, and I stopped at that point. I said, I'm not going to do this any longer. I said, I'm actually playing with you. I said, I know exactly what you're inquiring about, but your approach to me was very condescending. And so she didn't want to hear anything I'm saying. Her son is looking me dead in the mouth, like, like listening to every word and not even asking questions. And so I'm talking to the mom saying, we could have gotten on this chairlift. It could have gone something like this. Hi, how are you doing? My name's, Claire, or whatever her name was. And I would have said, hi, my name is Angela. Are you enjoying your day? Is this your first time out? These are normal conversations you have on a chairlift with strangers. You say, oh, how many days have you been here? And she starts out with, are you with them? So I took offense to that. So I said, what you are actually alluding to, there's a National Brotherhood of Skier organization. We go to a mountain once a year. We all convene, and this year it's here. I don't know. I think I want to say it was Aspen or Snowmass. I'm not sure. I said, and here we are. I said, so in actuality, yes, I am with them. But your word them just disassociates almost from the human beings that are walking the earth. I said, so it was your approach. I said, I'm more than happy to tell you about the history of NBS, what we're about. We're a fundraising organization, raising dollars to bring kids who would never ever see a mountain or a snow mountain or be able to ski, snowmobile, snowboard. So we bring kids of all ages. We sponsor them. We pay for everything to expose them. And the second goal is to get an Olympian out of the National Brotherhood of Skiers. So I gave her the history, and she still wasn't responsive, but I think she was listening, because she was mad probably because she couldn't get away from me, because remember, we're on a chairlift. And by this time, we're halfway to getting off. So her son is just nodding his head and going, oh, okay. So at least maybe I reached him. But when we got off, I just skied on off. I didn't say anything. So that was my long story.
State your names.
Carl Major, known as the Green Machine, Washington, D.C., DMV, here at Sun Valley, Idaho, having a wonderful and spectacular time. Thank you.
I'm Ken Morris.
That was...
Cowboy Ken from the Hillside Hustlers.
Just say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Cowboy Ken from the Hillside Hustlers.
So how long, is this your first summit?
Oh, no.
No. This is around
Been
40 years for me.
About 25 for me.
Were you at, so 40 years, you weren't at the first one then, that was more than that, right? You were at the second one. Wow.
I was with the guys all the time. I just didn't take skiing serious.
Wow. Were there a
Then
lot
I
of...
took my first spill. I said, I love it.
Until your first
I
build?
love it. As far as it goes, this year, on the race course, I think I'm old. It's 77. So I thank the Creator. I have nothing to do with it, to have me here and to still fellowship and to ski for my buddies who have gone on to become ancestors. I'm out.
He sets the goal for me, so I can go the next 20 years. I can't make an excuse not to race, because I could already say it's done. It's already been done, so I know I can do it too.
So I guess it's not too late for me to start learning.
Never.
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 Heavenly Creator, first of all, I ask your blessings over this wonderful group. I also want to make special note of all the things that we're thankful for today. We're thankful for the long ski lives of those NBS members who have passed on to glory this year. We are so grateful for the fact that they were with us for so long. We're also grateful for the ones who have been with us for so long, who are still with us now. Can I get an amen? There's so many good things that have come from this group gathering together. And one of those great things will be recognized this year, thanks to you, that our two founders are being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Art and Ben being inducted into the United States Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame as the first African Americans. I think that is bring a lot of curiosity. I think people were like, oh, didn't know black people skied, first of all, and then didn't realize, that they're going to be the first people of color to be inducted into a skiing Hall of Fame that's been around for 60-something years.
So how does it feel you're going to be inducted into Hall of Fame?
To be very honest with you right now, it's overwhelming. Because
that's all you can say.
There's a lot of work to this foolishness. So, I mean, it's a great honor, and I'm sure it will be fine after March 28th. But right now, it's a lot of work. For example, I'm riding up a gondola at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to take pictures to put in the Hall of Fame. I mean, wow.
And Art, how about you?
How do I feel about what's going on?
Yeah.
I can only piggyback on what Ben said. A couple of young ladies invited me to go on a trip with them up to northern Michigan. We get there and not knowing how to ski, they were gonna take a beginner's lesson. And I said, okay, well, I can do that. I'll take a beginner's lesson with you. We get to the top of the bunny hill and I fall out of the chair. And every time I get up, I fall down. Well, I had fallen over in some bushes along the side of the road. And I told them, I said, well, y'all go ahead, I'll get down. And a little guy, and he was short, real short. His name was Elgin Lee. He came by and he says, you need any help? Well, at the time, I don't want to be dealing with no white folks. So I told him, no, you go ahead, I'm doing all right. And he stood there and he insisted on skiing down the mountain with me. So he said, let me show you what to do and you won't fall anymore. And the short distance that we went down the bunny hill, he showed me how to keep the upper part of my body facing downhill. When he finished with me, and this is not a mountain, but it was one of the premier mountains of the Midwest, Indian Head. I could go all over Indian Head and not fall. I had a lot of fun. I've had so much fun over the years, and I have skied as many ski areas as a poor man can ski.
My name is Corey, and I am Ruth's nephew.
And I'm Ruth, and I'm Corey's aunt.
So have you guys always been skiing together?
No, we just started about 3 years ago.
I went skiing for the first time back when I was in 3rd grade, but I came and I always wanted to snowboard. And she told me about this summit that had been going on for years, and she had been skiing for years and said, hey, we should come. And so I came with my brother, and we started snowboarding together at the summit with her back in, I guess, 3 years ago.
In Tahoe. I've been skiing since 1992, and my sister got me skiing. She has always been a member of Black Ski up in DC, and for my graduation gift from dental school, she gave me a trip to Durango, Colorado, to the summit. So I thought that was just so cool, and so that was my first ski trip. The summit now has gotten a lot smaller because we used to come in with 7,000 strong to a mountain. And we were talking about it today on the mountain, people that have been in the group as long as I have, and they were talking about the LA group. They came down with 2 American airline jets full of skiers. And they made an announcement in the airport. Winter Fox, Four Seasons West, your planes are ready. So I'm like, oh, and they talked about, because all the people had on minks, had their cowboy hats, the men had their dusters.
I really think it's all about connection. I think that creating a connection with your family and really sharing some of your experiences, your joy is really what's important. I think that her influence and our connection really started whenever we went roller skating back when I was a little kid. And so she came, and I was little, and she was like, hey, she took me roller skating, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And I loved roller skating. So I loved activities, and I think that was our first really good kind of just one-on-one, getting out there and just doing something active together. And I think from there, we had that kind of a connection when she was like, she became like the cool active aunt, right? So when she was going out and skiing and scuba diving, I was like, oh, okay. So when I get old enough and when I was old enough and I had a job and I had the time and I had the finances is when I said, okay, let's go.
The influences I had, I guess, growing up were was my father, because he believed in vacation every year, and we always went somewhere every year, and so you got the bug to go to travel and do things. So that was one of my initial influences. As far as diving, no one in my family would have gone diving, but my influence was there. When I started skiing, I went into the ski shop, and it was owned by my old biology instructor, and he was also a diver. And I walked in the ski shop one day, and I said, and he was talking, he's like, oh, you need to see the octopi, and da-da-da. He had been diving and stuff, and he was describing everything he had seen, and I was like, I want to learn how to do that. So I could say he was my influencer, but with diving, but it was all from skiing. Okay, so when you're doing things, a lot of people are curious, and so they'll ask because they aren't used to seeing us, and so you get a little alienation. When I got certified, no one would come up to me a lot. Not a lot of people, or they just look, and they don't offer you help, and they don't think you can do anything. And I know a lot of people who still are part of the group to take separate trips. When they go out, people don't readily, like if you need a dive buddy, they don't readily come to you to go diving or come say, hey, be my buddy, until they see you dive and you prove that you're competent.
Do you feel like you're skiing, you have to do that too?
No, because I don't know, usually in these ski towns, it's really a different, they just have, I don't know if it's the fresh air, they just have a different vibe about them. They're just, everyone's happy. You go through the grocery stores, hi, how are you? And everybody's just really nice. And that I made that comment yesterday, and so I haven't really, because I think it's the environment or where they're living, and they're just happy people.
I think that being an African American scuba diving or diving, just like being in corporate America, oftentimes you are one of a few.
Right.
And so anytime you are one of a few, then you stand out. And when you stand out, then you oftentimes are put on this metaphorical stage. And whenever you're on a stage, and whenever you are more visible, then there's definitely a pressure that coincides with that. And so if I were to go scuba diving, or if I go snowboarding, especially kind of in this kind of environment where I go out and people say, oh wait, you're a young black young black snowboarder. Everyone's like, oh, this is cool. And because of that, it's more eyes. And so, yeah, absolutely, there's more pressure. It's definitely more pressure snowboarding. And then also with scuba diving, the unique or the cool thing is that the pressure for me, whenever I'm on the boat, is a little bit less, just because I've had the privilege of being able to dive with mostly African Americans on the boat. And so I think that creates a safety net where I can learn and I can be patient and I can ask questions. Whereas if this was a kind of a mixed environment, I may not ask the questions because I want to come off and be a little bit more confident. And the hill is a little more unforgiving, right? So you're out there, and so if you fall, then everyone sees you. Yeah. Then everyone sees you, right? But I do think that if you're doing scuba diving, if you're snowboarding, I'm a mountain biker. I mean, I am on a stage and definitely feel a lot more pressure to perform. I think that creating an interest is one thing, And I think that being a vehicle to facilitate that interest and build community is something totally different. And so I say that because I think that there are a lot of African Americans that are very interested in outdoor sports and like skiing. And so I think that's one challenge. It's identifying that, and then creating it, kind of like the biology instructor for my aunt or my aunt for me. But I think that what the Brotherhood does is that they create this environment where you can come and bring the interest, and you can harness it and build a community and find people to do that with. I do not think that the challenge is that, or the dilemma is that there's not a lot of people of color that are interested in skiing or snowboarding or scuba diving. I just think that they don't know where to go or who to go with, and they're not sure if they're going to have an environment that's going to embrace them and provide the support that they need to be able to have fun. The last thing you want to do in a place where you're trying to have fun is feel like you have to perform, or that you're auditioning, or that you have to be at a certain level, yourself. Right? And so I think that's really the big challenge.
When you had those organizations back in the past, they were formed because we weren't allowed to go diving. We weren't allowed to go on the mountains, or, it was very awkward to come on the mountain. So these organizations formed for that reason, to become a group so we can go and feel comfortable when we travel and do these kinds of sports and different things. When I started diving, I did it on my own. But my sister encouraged me, because when you start getting in a network, the network reaches out to this person and that person, my sister would say, hey, the Black Divers are coming down the Southern Regional. They're having the Southern Regional here in Virginia Beach. Oh man, you need to go out there and meet them. They're here now. So she would encourage me. Now, she's not a diver, but because of her connections, she knew people who dove and maybe skied. So she would connect me with the divers when they come down, and I'd drop everything and go out and go diving with them. So, and that's how my connection got started with the Black Divers. So it's just, when you have people in a community that and not people, but family, that encourages you to get involved with different organizations, it's just wonderful.
My name is Ben Finley. I am the co-founder of the National Brotherhood of Skiers.
And how did you get into skiing?
Well, I got into skiing through dating. Back in the day, I took my then current girlfriend on a camping trip to Yosemite National Park. We spent a marvelous weekend sleeping in tents, chasing raccoons and watching bears. And as we were exiting the park, she says, let's stop by a ski area. And so here we go, and we're sitting there at the ski area. It's called Badger Pass. We're sitting there in the warm California sun, watching white folks come down the hill killing themselves. And as we're sitting there drinking margaritas, she says, I want to learn how to ski. Well, the first thing Ben saw was dollar bills and broken legs in that sequence. But, being an amorous young male, I couldn't lose my cool with that. And at that time, I was running a diving club in Anaheim, California, a scuba diving club. And so in order to get out of having to go skiing, I offered her a challenge. And I said, I tell you what, I said, if you take scuba lessons and pass your ocean checkout, I will take you skiing. And I thought that would be the end of that. And 6 weeks later, I found myself back in Yosemite National Park.
At the time when you started skiing, did you find that you were among small numbers with regards to POC, people of color, on the slopes?
Yeah, we were definitely small numbers. There was our group, and that was it. There were no other black folks on the slope at that time.
You mentioned earlier, you referenced camping at a young age through not the YMCA.
Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts. Doing things that a lot of us have grown up hearing black folks don't do. Do you feel that something like the Boy Scouts at a young age like that had a positive influence?
Well, Samantha, I mean, I grew up in Harlem. I went to an interracial grade school. It was Puerto Ricans, Irish, and black folks. I joined the Boy Scouts at the tender age of 12 years old, and I would say that my experience in the Boy Scouts in general is what gave me this urge for outdoor living all the way around. It was 1/3 Puerto Rican, 1/3 Jewish, and 1/3 black. The scoutmaster was a white German, not necessarily German, he was German American. And basically, he taught me the skills of leadership. And coming out, and I mean, I'm cognizant, you know, you're not cognizant that people are teaching you stuff at the tender age of 12 or 13. But obviously, Don Streeter did this. In fact, he's one of my idols. I've only got two. So I've got two idols in life, and he is one of them. And when you go out in the woods in the middle of winter and sleep in 3 feet of snow, life changes all the way around. And none of my friends were doing this foolishness, but just me. Yeah, it impacts your life.
And that being said, there's a program with the NBS about, getting youth on the slopes. How would you explain to someone some of the work that you're doing and with the youth, what the goals are in having that program?
Like I've mentioned to you before, everything happens in history. Ski clubs were formed back in the 60s, just after the Black Power movement, because black folks felt more comfortable traveling in groups. Nowadays, our objective and one of the missions of the NBS is to put black power in the start gates at the Olympics. And in order to do that, we have to have a pipeline of people capable of chasing this dream. And so, yeah, we would like lots of youth in the program. But in doing so, basically what you're doing is taking kids who, let's say, come out of the hood, who have never even thought about skiing, and exposing them to opportunities and adventures. And basically, you're trying to change their lives. And that's what the NBS is all about. In fact, if you look at the summit, we've got 700 people here this week. And basically, they're here because someone changed their lives back in the day and pulled them out of their current situation and exposed them to life at its fullest.
My name is Ron Denman. I'm actually from Houston, Texas, born and raised there, but I've lived in Denver since 2001. Moved there with the military on a military assignment, and I've been there ever since. I enjoy the skiing, I enjoy the outdoor, I enjoy the cold weather.
And how did you get into skiing?
One of my buddies, military buddies, we worked undercover together. He was my undercover partner, and we did an assignment in Colorado Springs, undercover operation for about 9 months in Colorado Springs. And he was previously assigned in Germany, and he'd learned to ski in Germany, and this was in the early 90s. And so he and I decided on some of our breaks from the undercover op that we'd go up to the mountain, and he showed me how to ski, and I loved it.
You also scuba dive.
Yeah, and I scuba dive as well, and actually I was fairly late to the game in scuba diving. And from 85 to 87, I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. And one of my coworkers was a PADI certified instructor, and we had a marina there, and this was back in the day before they had the actual octopus. And so he would get his scuba gear, and during this time I was actually doing triathlon. So I'd go out in the marina and I'd swim for a mile, and I'd swim back and forth to get my laps in, and he would come out with scuba gear. And you know, one day Tony, his name was Tony, and Tony came up and he goes, "Hey man, you want to go down with me?" And I was like, yeah, sure. And so we actually just did a buddy breathe where he would hand this rig over to me, and we went down and we swam around in the bottom for almost 15 minutes. And I just thought, this is amazing. And I'd always seen it on TV, you know, saw Jacques Cousteau and Seawolf, and you know, that was always one of my childhood dreams. But growing up in the middle of Houston, lower middle income family, just really wasn't, you know, available at that time. Some of the people that are most surprised about the fact that I enjoy the cold weather and the ski and the snow are people of color. And these people, they tend to, you know, be very shocked about the fact that, you know, that I do enjoy that, and they, you know, they you know, decide to tell me themselves, we don't do that. And I was like, actually, you don't do that. There are thousands of us that actually do this, and we do it really well. I said, you know, you just have to come up and see. I said, but there's no reason not to do it. And surprisingly enough, I have cousins that are from Denver, and after moving here, I talked to them and everybody that they know, and none of the people of color that are from the best ski environment in the world, none of them ski. Absolutely every person that I've met since I lived in Colorado that ski, they're all from somewhere else. None of them are from Colorado. And I think some of that is because for so many years they've all been told, yeah, we don't do that. Because they live in this weather and this atmosphere as well as anybody else. You know, they're not averse to being in the weather. It's just that for some reason they've been convinced it's just not something they do. And, you know, and it's been really eye-opening for them to actually come up to the mountains. At the last Black Ski Summit, they actually came to, you know, the summit with me, and they got up and they did some skiing and they loved it. And one of my cousins has been asking me to come back and forth, and you know, the plan is to get her back up here on the snow.
I'm taking a ski lesson tomorrow for the first time. That'll be pretty cool. Was supposed to go on a toboggan run today and had a bunch of other shooting to do this morning. I was shooting a race, so I unfortunately did not make it in time, but hopefully I'll still get to go tomorrow morning. I just got off of the most amazing toboggan run. Was up there shooting at the mountain. I don't yet ski. I'm about to take a ski lesson in about an hour, so I'll report back, I think, after that. I've been shooting at the top of the mountain on a snowmobile and just walking around on foot and putting a GoPro on some of the actual skiers as they go down the mountain. And one of the ski patrol guys offered me a ride on a toboggan, which is really cool. I mean, what that means is that they ski down and pull the toboggan behind them while these crazy slopes. This is incredible. Yo!
That was fun, thank you.
That was really fun.
Hey, my name's Allie Marisich, and I'm a ski instructor at Sun Valley Resort. I am actually fourth, fifth generation Idaho and second generation on the ski school. I've been doing this for about 10 years.
Allie was amazing to do my first real ski lesson. That's it was great. It's really great.
Well, you killed it too. You did so well. So we went on the magic carpet, and then like after just 2 runs on the magic carpet, we went all the way on the chair.
I know, I was on a lift chair, like, oh, we have skis on. And came down the mountain you see behind us here. Yeah, I was skiing down that. For some of y'all, oh, that's nothing. That's cute. It's a lot for me. I feel good. It's all good.
You killed it.
So I want to try to get, if we have time, I want to try to get one up there. Okay.
Having NBS here is like, it's all about the energy. Like, I mean, you know, we are a resort town. That's like, the economy works on people coming here, but everyone in town, all the locals are always like, yeah, here's this party, and we all just get to like be together and have a really good time, and everyone brings this like influx of like positive energy here. And so it's like, that's what NBS really does to like this town, and we all really feel that, and we all love having you here.
I'm Aaron. I grew up here. I know it's been a while since the Brotherhood has been here, and over the past month or several weeks, while the town has been kind of aware that the Brotherhood is on its way, people have been really excited. People have been like, there's been a genuine enthusiasm of like, yeah, the Brotherhood is coming. Like, people have very good memories from the previous times the Brotherhood was here, and honestly, this time, I mean, this is also my perspective as someone who's moved away and lived in a lot of big cities. Like, when the Brotherhood is here, this place feels so much more real and like a real place, because when it's all homogenous, honestly, when it's all Caucasian, it feels like this weird, unreal place. It feels fictional, and not in a good way. It feels like this, something's wrong here. And I definitely know there are times, like when I've lived in New York, LA, San Francisco, now I live in Kentucky. So there are lots of times when I come back here and I'm like, this like whiteness feels very strange and I'm not totally comfortable with it. Yeah, so there's definitely been this really genuine, open enthusiasm for the Brotherhood to be here. My brother who also lives here, he was telling me he was chatting with some of the folks from the Brotherhood crew who are here. He was chatting with some of them, and they were, going on about how much they like it here and talking about like, wow, maybe we should get houses. Maybe we should move here. And my brother was like, please do. That would be great. Like, please, like, bring more of your energy, and also just like bring some diversity here. We could use it. Absolutely. Yeah.